So in general, from the stakeholders that we spoke to, Comelec, especially under new administration and new leadership of Comelec since the 2022 elections, was seen as positively engaging in a professional way with civil society, with stakeholders, with the media, and with political parties, which has seen a more consistent and strategic approach. ANFREL were observing the elections here in the Philippines in 2022, and one of our recommendations at that time was to mention that Comelec should be more accessible and communicative. So this really shows growth even in the few years since we have been here. And it also shows a growing institutional commitment to inclusion from Comelec as well. And I'm sure we will also go into more detail on the inclusivity and the accessibility, in particular on election day. But nonetheless, some of the new initiatives that Comelec has come up with, especially for this election, should be highlighted and are positive in our view. With the electoral framework, in some cases being quite old, the Omnibus Election Code is almost 40 years old. It was exactly 40 years old at this stage. It has some gaps, and Comelec was seen to be positively filling those gaps through resolutions, through its task forces for this election, and identifying areas for improvement. And having said that, what we noticed, especially in some regional areas, was some capacity gaps. Comelec, as mentioned, have taken on a wide remit and lots of useful initiatives covering different areas. So with new elections, it's coming up later this year in Bangsamoro and the Barangay and Sangguniang, Kabataan elections, SK elections in December. It's important to maintain this transparency, and we believe that, and we hope that Comelec can continue in this vein with their open and transparent communication, whilst also looking at their capacity through all of those initiatives to be able to, for example, in a regional Comelec office, be able to manage allegations of vote buying and other areas at a local level, and to maintain that momentum. Some communications issues around voting centres and campaign finance were also noted. So there are definitely still some areas of improvement, as there always will be. But overall, I think for the transparency side of things, Comelec have shown greater engagement, greater transparency, greater communication. And that was something that we wanted to positively note, and something that we heard from almost all of our stakeholders, be they CSOs, citizens' arms, media, social media. It was one of the things that was particularly highlighted. So I think from a transparency perspective, those were our main findings.